Hey everyone, I'm Erin Bassett with Brother, and I am so excited because I just got this DesignNCut delivered to me, and I can't wait to open it up and show you all what's inside and then do a project together. Okay, so let's open it up. So we have a mat. Okay, so here is my machine and then all the little goodies inside, and of course that mat that I already showed you. So to hook it up, we need to take it out of here. And you want to make sure you remove any of these little blue pieces of tape. Those are just to hold it in place when it's shipping. That looks pretty good. And then we have our cord, which comes in two pieces, and so we'll just open it up and plug them together. You have this end that has those two little holes right there, and that's going to go into the big box where there's two holes. And once I untangle this, okay, so here is my cord, and I am going to plug it into the machine. Let me flip it around so you can see. So it's just going in this little hole right here. Okay. And now I can plug the other end into my wall socket. Okay, so let's see what else is in the box. I get a handy spatula, and of course the cutting blade. Okay. So to operate this, you're first going to take off that protective cover, and then you'll have it twisted all the way up to 12 just to make sure your cap's on all the way. And then you can decrease it to a lower number. And remember, you want to always do a test cut before you cut on a new material so you don't cut all the way through your mat. Your machine also comes with all the instructions that you need in order to set everything up. Okay, let's go ahead and turn things on. I'm going to hit the power button. I followed the instructions to hook my machine up to my wireless network, and I downloaded DesignNCut Manager, and now I need to connect the two. So I'm going to hit the connect button, and it's going to pop up with my machine number. And to find your machine number, you can click that little down caret right there until you get to machine info, and then hit OK, and then find the number. OK. And hopefully this number will match that one, and if so, you check it off and hit done. So now those two are linked. And then next it says to join DesignNCut Canvas. Now if you already have a DesignNCut Canvas account for your DesignNCut machine, it's recommended that you go ahead and create a second account for your DesignNCut machine, and that'll just save you a lot of headache of switching back and forth. So you can go ahead and click on that DesignNCut Canvas, and it will take you to the page where you can set up a new account. You'll just scroll all the way to the bottom, click I agree, and register. And once your account is set up on DesignNCut Canvas, you are ready to start creating. And the first thing I made was this little card. So to get started, I just took a piece of paper and a black pen and wrote out my word that I wanted to use. And then now that I have that finished, I am going to place that onto my mat. And these mats are special. They're created just for DesignNCut, so don't get them confused with your ScanNCut mat. And I want to be able to take a picture of this using my tablet and then use the capture mat function in order to use this design. So I am going to put a calibration sheet, and that comes with your DesignNCut. And I am going to try to take a picture of it. And I think there. And then once I have that, I can calibrate my tablet. And now I'll take a picture of my word thankful. And I want to get just the mat really. So there it is. So now I'll just hit ScanNCut Canvas, and that will open that up. And then I'll click on New and go down to Menu. That's those three little lines at the bottom, and click on Project, and then click that image tracing icon on the right. And I'm going to do normal tracing and select the image that was snapped by the capture mat. And there it is. And so I can go ahead and crop that down. And then I'm going to choose the color option for the tracing and click OK and yes. So there is my thankful, and now all those inner loops are a separate little file, and I'm just going to select each one and delete it. Let me show you it a little bit more close up. So just select it and hit that little trash can for delete. And then just be careful when you're selecting that you select just the little loopy part and not the whole word, or you'll end up deleting it. So once it's done and cleaned up, you should just have the word. And then I'm going to add a rectangle to my mat, and that's just from the basic shapes. And you can grab those little points and resize it however you want. I'm going to make it 4¼ inches by 11¼ inches, and I just kind of got it almost there. If you're more precise, you can make it precise. And then I'm going to hit that path tool and be able to create a line that I'm going to make it be a score line for my card. So then I went ahead and selected that line and then clicked on the properties button, and I changed the dash pattern to be one that's more of a score line. So you can change it to be whatever you want. Just select the one you want, and then you can X out of that. And then I went ahead and added a second rectangle that's about 4 inches by 5 inches. So now we want to align the big rectangle and the score line so that it's centered. So go ahead and click on Edit, and then you can choose your alignment. You want it to be right smack dab in the center. And you can group those by, again, going to Edit, and then under that group function, you can hit Group. So I always like to double check that all my pieces are going to work together like I want them to, and then make any adjustments before I save it. So when you're all finished with your project, you'll click Project and Save, and that will save it to ScanNCut Canvas. And then to be able to cut this out, I want to use a couple different papers. So I'm going to select Thankful and delete it, and then move the smaller rectangle up towards the top of my mat so I can put 2 different pieces of paper on and cut this out with one fell swoop. So I'll click on Menu and then Download and DesignNCut Transfer. And it sends it right over, and so I can click Closed. Okay, so I want to put my 2 pieces of paper onto my mat so I can cut those out, and I just cut them to be 6 inches by 12 inches. Okay, so now I'll load my mat into my machine. So then I can pick up my tablet and click Load Data, and it will load it right in. On your machine, you'll see that it'll say Receiving, and then there it is. So I can click on the operations and change that. I'm going to pick Cut for this, and then Done. can see it says cut. My settings, if I want to change them, I can. I can change my speed or my pressure. And then if I wanted to add a test cut, I can just click on that and tell the test cut to turn on and click whatever shape I want it to be. And what size, if I wanted to change the size. And where I want it positioned. I'm going to have it be in the lower corner. And when I'm done, I can just hit done. So when you do a test cut, it will cut that out first and then stop to evaluate it. So I can just click start and it will do a cut. So then let's see, it cut right through. So now I know I am good to go. Back on my tablet, I can tell it to restart and it will continue to cut. So once it's finished cutting, you can go ahead and unload it from the machine and then take the paper off of your mat. So you can see that there is a score line right there that I can fold this on. And that'll be perfect for my card. And then I'll take my other piece off too. Okay, let's cut out the Thankful. I put some cardstock onto my mat and I'm going to load that up. So back in DesignNCut Canvas, I have my word Thankful that I pulled out of my saved files. And now I can resize it by just pulling those little handles. And I'm making mine just shy of 2 inches by about 5¼ inches. And then you can hit your menu button and download. And then you'll hit DesignNCut Transfer. And then go back into Design Manager and click Load Data. And then once it comes up, we want to tell it to change the operation to cut. And then click Done. And now we can go ahead and click Start. So once it's finished, you can unload the mat and take out the design. And because this is so fragile, I really like to use a spatula to get it started taking off the mat. So there's our Thankful. Okay, so back into DesignNCut Canvas, and we're going to hit that Scan and Cut icon, and that will just take us back to the home screen. So click on New, and then you're going to click into the basic patterns again, and I'm going to look for a scalloped circle, and you might want to pull up a couple of them and see which one you like better, and then just delete the one that you're not going to use. And I made my circle about 4 inches and then hit download and transferred it over to my DesignNCut machine. So then in Design Manager, you'll click Load Data and it'll pop right up. Okay, and again, we just want to choose the cut function to cut that out. And I'm just going to make sure I have yellow cardstock on my mat and it's ready to go. So next I want to open up my embossing kit, and this kit comes separately from your DesignNCut machine, but is a great kit to own. So in it you get this little green cushion mat, and this is applied right on top of your sticky mat. So you just want to place it on your mat with the green side down and that little blue tab in the lower left-hand corner. So next you're going to want to put your paper onto there. So first remove the clear protective cover sheet that's on there, and that will allow you to place that on there. So next you want to get your embossing tool all set up. So take out the little packet that came in the kit, and in it you'll have the embossing tip and the tool holder, and also a card that will unlock this feature on your machine. Then to get your tool set up, you want to unscrew the lid first of all, and then match up the arrow that's on the tool and the arrow that's on the embossing tip. And once those are matched up, you can just screw that lid right back on, and that locks it in place. So back to Scan and Cut Canvas. We are going to load an embossing design onto our canvas, and you can scroll through there and pick out one you like. I like this one for this card, and then I just want to resize it so it's about 4 1/4 inches wide, and then click on the path tool and again create a line right across the middle, and then I'm going to add a rectangle by going back into those basic shapes and add that to my design so it'll cut a rectangle around the embossed image. So once I have it about the size I want, I can go ahead and move the rectangle and the line down below. And I just want to align those by selecting both of them, going into Menu, Edit, and then choosing the line. And then I can go ahead and group those, so it'll be one image. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save that so I'm able to do the embossing and then cut it out in steps. So now that I have both of those saved, I'm going to delete the rectangle and do the embossing first. So once you have your mat loaded in the machine, you want to make sure that you stick your embossing tool into the tool holder. Then on your tablet, you're going to choose Load Data in your DesignNCut Manager. And there's our embossing design, and we want to change our operation this time to Line Emboss. And once it's ready, hit start. And once it's finished, you can just unload it from the machine. And there is our finished embossing. So now we want to go back into Scan and Cut Canvas and pull up that same design, and this time you're going to delete the embossed design. And then you can move your rectangle with the line through it up into the upper left-hand corner. And then we'll go ahead and cut that out by sending it over to our DesignNCut machine with a DesignNCut transfer. So back in Design Manager, load the data, and then change the operation to be cutting. And then you're going to want to remove your embossing tool and putting your cutting tool in. So just lift the lever and put it in, and close the lever. And now you're ready to cut it out. So once those are cut out, we are ready to move on to our next step. Next, we're going to use the universal pen holder, and that's sold separately as well. So to use it, you'll just insert the pen all the way down, and then pull up on that little grip and turn, and it'll lock it into place. And then you have it adjusted to the perfect height, and you can just put it right in where all the tool holders go. And then in DesignNCut Canvas, you'll pull up the logo designs, and that For You is right there. And once you get it there, you can go ahead and use the DesignNCut transfer to transfer it over to DesignNCut Manager. And then pull up the DesignNCut Manager, and you're going to click the Load Data. And there it is. Now first we want to change it to Draw. And then we're going to hit Start. So next we want to go back into DesignNCut Canvas, and we are going to cut around the For You that we just drew out. So go ahead and click on Menu and Edit, and then this icon, which is the Create Offset Line, and you can create the spacing however you want. Once your settings are set, click OK, and it created that offset line. And now you just want to select the For You and move it off to the side or delete it, and we just have that outline. So now we are going to send that over to our DesignNCut Manager. And once you have that there, you're going to load the data. And now you'll change your option to cut. And before you cut it out, you want to change and put your blade back in. So make sure you have it in there, and then hit Start. So now we have all of our pieces ready, and we're ready to assemble the card. So you want to just take that gingham piece and put some adhesive on it and put it on the front of that card base that we created. And then take your circle, your scallop circle, and adhere that on. And then your embossed piece, you can decide which side you want up and adhere that on, and just trim off any extra that hangs off. Okay, so then once we have that done, we're going to take some pop dots, and I just use those to pop up that For You. And then we'll just use some adhesive on the back of the Thankful and stick that right on. Now it's cute, but I thought it could add a little bit more embellishment. So I went ahead and opened up DesignNCut again, and this time just got a little basic square, and I made it pretty small, about half an inch. So then I went back to that path tool and created a diagonal line, and that way it'll cut my square in half into triangles. Then I went back into Edit and hit Duplicate. Now after that, I went ahead and sent it over via DesignNCut Transfer, and then loaded it in my machine and cut it out. So after it finished cutting, I went ahead and popped those little triangles out and adhered them to my card. And I also went ahead and added some little adhesive pearls to the front of it to jazz it up a bit. For more information about DesignNCut, visit the address above. And for more ideas and inspiration, visit erinbassett.com.